السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. نحييكم من الملتقى القطري للمؤلفين، وفي جلسة جديدة من فكر ومفكرين، ونستضيف شخصية من الدولة عزيزة طبعا علينا، من الجمهورية التركية، وهي شخصية متخصصة في علم النفس والقرآن الكريم، وهذا يمكن شيء جديد، قل من يكتب في هذا المجال ويضع الأبحاث في مجاله. ولكن احنا سعداء اليوم ان احنا نستضيف الأستاذة صالحة. والأستاذة صالحة يا ريت انها تعرفنا على نفسها. Dear Ms. Salha, can you introduce yourself so the people can know more information about you?
Thank you very much, Ms. Mariam. Firstly, I would like to express my gratitude to Minister of Culture. Yes, I'm from Turkey, Istanbul University, and my specialization is about psychology of religion. I graduated from Istanbul University, and I study on psychology of Islam, let's say Islamic psychology, and also near-death experiences, some other areas like transhumanism, posthumanism. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and it's great to be with us. And we are really interested to know about your research, which you did about psychology and the Holy Quran. Can you tell us about this study, please?
Yes, it's a very important title. Thank you very much for giving me such a title, Psychology and Quran. Of course, it's a very wide topic. And I think here we should aim to indicate that knowledge is the best medicine and Quran is our guide. So we get the knowledge of Hakikat from Quran, as we all know. And as in one of the writings mentioned of Balkhi, who was one of the early scholars in psychology field, he says that religion is the greatest of philosophies. Therefore, man cannot be a philosopher until he becomes a worshipper. The greatest medicine is knowledge. So we should understand Quran as a guide, of course, as we all know. And here I'd like to talk about psyche and human being and how we understand it and what's the perspective of Quran, or what kind of perspective we should have from Quran. Maybe it is better to talk on them. Ibn Sina, Avicenna, says that the soul of man is like an oil lamp. Knowledge is like his light, and divine wisdom is like the olive oil in him, in human being. So in order to get the light, we need to clean the oil lamp. We need to overcome the disease of it. And we know that, as it is mentioned in the hadith, there is no disease that Allah has created except that he also has created its treatments. In fact, as we all know, the Quran has been sent down to guide people, to invite them to the belief of Tawheed, to teach them a new set of values in thought and life, and to guide them to learn consistent and correct behaviors for the benefit of people, for the benefit of us and society, and to attain the sublimity that will ensure human happiness. So we all need Quran for such reasons. But also, Quran is a guide to train our nafs in a healthy way, to direct it to the ways that will ensure psyche's solid development. As mentioned in Surah Isra, it says, يا أيها الناس قد جاءتكم موعظة من ربكم وشفاء لما في الصدور وهدى ورحمة للمؤمنين. So there has come to you, oh man, there has come to you an advice from your Lord, and a cure for the ailments of your hearts, and guidance and mercy for the believers. So also in Surah Fussilat, 44th verse, it is for those who believe a guidance and cure. So we have such a brilliant guide in our hands. Heidegger says we shall never learn what is called swimming by reading a treatise on swimming. Only the leap into the river tells us what is called swimming. So we can never learn or we can never talk about psychology and Quran by looking at it from far. The only way to know it, the only way to experience is to read it, to have it in our daily life, actual life, in every step. As you know, early Greek philosophers discussed human psyche, but in Islamic world, there were important names like Abu Zayd al-Balkhi, al-Ghazali in the early centuries. They really gave importance to mental and spiritual health. And the Muslim community experienced a significant era of growth, like Golden Age, and development between the 9th and 18th centuries. And we all know that during this period, there was an explosion in literature on human behavior and character reformation, يعني تذهيب الأخلاق, and spiritual medicine, طب الروحاني, and prophetic medicine, طب النبوي, with varying ontologies were seen and developments were seen in the Muslim world. So how all these happened? How all these were succeeded, I mean. Of course, it was by focusing on Quran and focusing on the role of spirituality in perfecting human well-being. They all succeeded because they took Quran as a real guide. And if we look at the Western world, we see that they, especially the Western psychologists and Western psychiatrists, they tried to analyze human development for years, and they saw the mind and the human being as a machine, which can be understood by artificial intelligence algorithm in a computer. But human being, mind, is beyond this. So we are all connected to a heart and a soul, a ruh yani. So there are many questions which are unanswered, although many efforts were made to understand the human being and the mind in Western psychology. But when we look at Islam, if we want to understand mind and ruh of human being, we should look at Quran carefully and protect the inheritance of our ancestors, like Imam al-Ghazali, or like the recent Muslim scholars like Malik Bedri, who was a Sudanese author and wrote many influential books like The Dilemma of Muslim Psychologists and many others. Of course, undoubtedly, we have to show a serious interest in the study of our Islamic culture, starting with the Quran and Hadith, because Islam values the importance of good mental health and emotional well-being. And in our everyday practices, we already use psychology in Islam. The Quran is the best guide, as I said before, for the ones who suffer from stress, grief, and many other emotions. The Quran aims to lead us to a meaningful quality of life, guides us to overcome the inner turmoil. We have the peaceful self by the emotions and harmful conditioning as nafs al-ammara, or let's say commanding